Welcome to the Success School podcast. We are on episode 28. Let's go. How are you feeling, Steph?
Excited as always. This is my favorite time of the week. I just took a photo and put it on social media and I was like, this is my favorite time of the week. We get to connect, we get to teach, we get to learn. It's like thebomb.com.
We are in our new studio setup, aka we got new chairs. So if you're watching on YouTube, please let us know that you're excited. I've been loving all the feedback we've been getting lately. My DMs have been blowing up about the podcast.
So much, guys. Thank you so much for letting us know that you're loving it and that you're getting something from it. It really means a lot to us. We actually, true story, we did a podcast a couple of weeks ago and we thought that it was not our best. We got off. We were like, it's probably not our best podcast, or we feel a bit bad about it going up. Anyway, you guys have loved it.
Yeah, that was our most popular
episode. So obviously we have no idea what we think is valuable versus what you guys think is valuable is completely different. So we love that you love it. Please keep letting us know so we can keep tailoring topics to what you want to hear.
Yeah. So, guys, we usually do a lesson of the week. So, actually, we're going to talk about the organic marketing machine today. But before we get into that, we're going to start off with rapid fire questions, okay, instead of lesson of the week. So, I'm going to ask Steph 3 rapid fire questions. If you know Steph, you know she likes to waffle, okay? So, we're going to try to keep the answers less than 60 seconds for each of these 3 questions.
I feel nervous.
So, we get maximum value from them and create amazing reels, okay? And they go up and then we go viral.
Amazing reels.
We get all the cool shit out. So, rapid fire question number 1. Steph, are you ready? Are you excited?
I'm
knees
nervous.
shaking? She's a little bit shaking. So if you haven't watched on YouTube, see that she's shaking and subscribe to YouTube to build that subscriber count. Anyway, question 1. What's the number 1 limitation to success of businesses doing under 50K months?
Themselves.
Okay.
Full stop, or should I add more context? I'm scared now.
48 seconds.
Okay. So as we grow, your belief system of only I can do it this way and this is the only way that I can do it is going to be your limiting factor to getting to 50K months. The way that you run it to get to 10K months is going to have to change to get us to 50K months, and you will probably not be able to do all of the work on your own. And so you will have to let go in order to grow. The number 1 constraint that I see in businesses that are trying to get to 50K months is that they become the bottleneck in their growth. Everything has to go through them. Everything has to be approved by them. They're hiring people, but they're still doing the tasks. That is the biggest constraint I see.
Love it. That's really simple. Question number 2. Why are you, Steph Frey, successful?
Steph Frey, I like it.
Steph Frey.
Oh gosh.
Because the last name.
Why am I, must be, yeah. Why am I successful? Twofold, 2 answers. I think because I work really hard, and anyone who does know me behind the scenes knows that I'm a hustler and I get it done. And the second thing is because I really, really care. So I've only ever been into businesses that I really care about. The businesses that we've tried to run that I haven't cared about, I've had nothing to do with them and just tap out really early. So I think because I really care, my first business, I was really passionate about the concept and the mission behind the business. And the coaching business, I'm born to be a coach. I just freaking love it. And I really care about our clients' results.
Key word there, guys, or key takeaway, you have to be passionate about what you do to be successful in it. Third question, and to wrap up the rapid fire for Steph, how do you handle trolls?
It's a great question and something that I've definitely gotten better with over time, but I actually find trolls quite funny. And I think that when you can't handle trolls, it's because I really think a level of perfectionism comes into it. You're trying to be the good girl, you try not to upset anybody. And I think that when you just accept that you're a rebel and that you are going to go against the grain and you're going to piss people off, and in order to, stand out, you're going to have an opinion that's different from every single other person. The sooner that you accept that you're no longer playing the nice girl and that it's okay if you piss people off and that there's no such thing as right and wrong, it gets really, really easy to handle trolls.
Love it. Thanks for answering the first round of rapid fire questions.
Oh, it was really fun. And I was really nervous, but Tim, now I get to rapid fire question to you.
I'm not nervous at all.
Oh.
I'm ready for this. I'm cool as a cucumber.
Let's hope we rattle him. I hope I rattle him.
Yeah.
Okay, so question 1. What motivates you to get out of bed at 4:30 in the morning?
Bit of a strange answer. I use a little bit of dark energy here. We've heard this talked about on a podcast previously and it really resonated with me. But honestly, I think about my haters and what they wouldn't or would do. And I'm like, they wouldn't do that. So you got to do it. So do what other people won't to be what other people can't. That motivates me to get out of bed in the morning. And honestly, I deep down want to be the best at whatever I can do. So that motivates me. And I think what would an alter ego version of me do that I wouldn't do right now? And I just try to beat him. So I have an alter ego and I try to beat him at everything I do.
I love that. Not competitive at all. So do what other people won't do to get results that they don't have. I like it. Number 2, one piece of advice for somebody wanting to scale from 10K to 30K months.
So really anything under the 50K months until you've hit it is just all about sales and marketing. Okay. So I would say it's marketing. If you're getting inconsistent results, you're probably marketing inconsistently. That's the number one thing. And you're not following a marketing process. So I would have a checklist of things that you do non-negotiable every single day that you wake up. And that would be like the first things I would do after you do your workout, have your coffee, morning poo, whatever that is. You want to have your checklist of things to do. So it would be reach out to 10 people, change the ads, change creative. Steph's killing herself over the poo comment.
The poo, really?
So a checklist of marketing stuff and sales stuff that you do every single day.
Honestly, sometimes you guys might think it's like, who did I marry? Like,
well, everyone does it. Like, that's the thing.
Okay, question number 3. Advice for somebody who's hesitant about using Facebook ads.
Yeah, so get the groundwork dialed in first. So actually know what you're doing. I would be hesitant too if I had no idea what I was doing with Facebook ads. So get the groundwork dialed in and then just commit a budget to it. If it's $100, 500,000, 10,000, whatever it is, commit a budget to it, write it off. Like imagine you're going to the casino and you're putting it on red or whatever it is. The outcome of it doesn't matter so much to you. Okay. And that's where, people get really emotionally invested in the money, every single dollar, cent, view, click, like, subscribe. And that's when it goes wrong because they really put too much emotion into it. So take the emotion out, commit a budget to it, learn the basics first, and then be very analytical about the results you get, not emotional. Okay. That's where it goes wrong.
I love that. And if you are interested in learning more about Facebook ads, Tim has just run or is running this week a Facebook ads training course for our clients, which you will get access to if you join Successful. And if you're a Successful client, successful.io. And if you're in Successful, you should definitely go and give that a watch.
All right, guys. So we're going to segue into the topic today. We're talking about the organic marketing machine. So this is actually called a content waterfall system. So we talk about paid ads on the show. We talk about it in our program, and then we also talk about organic. So we're going to detail a organic process and strategy for you guys that you can follow. So you just need your thinking caps on here. If you've listened to our previous episodes, we talk about read, write, and recite. So maybe you want to write it down, hint, hint, and then execute it, hint, hint. That's about getting results in this program and obviously on this podcast. So this is a method we have used to gain 300 followers a month, every month consistently. That might not sound like a lot to you, but if you compound 300 followers a month for a year, that's 3,600 a year or 36,000 in 10 years. Okay. Who couldn't do with an extra 3,600 followers at the end of 12 months for following a very simple process? Steph, how do you feel about getting 360 followers in a month?
Well, I mean, us getting 300 followers a month gives us a full pipeline of leads and sales. So guys, like, it might not be a huge amount of followers, but they're the right followers. They're the right people who engage with our content in the right ways, who are the right kind of people that need help because our profile is optimized in a way that actually allows them to realize that where we can help them or we can't, and we can solve a problem for them or we can't. And so for us and for you guys, 300 people that are watching your content, that the conversion rate of that is somewhere between 1 to 3%. Like, the compounding effect is just impossible not to make money off that over time.
So today we're talking about writing 5 pieces of content to give you a month's worth of marketing material. So if that sounds like witchcraft to you, Steph is about to reveal the process.
Yeah. So here's how we make 5 pieces of content to give you an entire month's worth of marketing material. So it's a 5-step process. So get your little pens out and get ready to write this down. Step 1 is you must list out 5 problems your client is experiencing. These must be problems that they are aware that they have. So problems for our clients are they can't get leads, they can't make sales, they can't get enough eyeballs into their program, they don't have enough followers, they're struggling with engagement, they don't know how to use email marketing, they don't have enough time, they are doing everything themselves, they have no systems, they have no processes, they feel overwhelmed. Like, these are some of the problems that our clients are aware they have. This is language they're using every single day. So we would list out as many of those problems as possible, but at least 5 as step 1.
So where the problem thing goes wrong is they don't actually put themselves in the shoes of their client. Okay. So people think that this is their client's problem, but actually it's not. It's their interpretation of their client's problem. So maybe we'll give a health and fitness example here. Okay. Maybe
Yeah.
you give your example. So imagine Steph is showing up to a group training gym, and I would assume that, a woman in her 30s to 40s maybe wants to drop a couple of kilos, get firmer, get slimmer, but actually what would be their problems?
I mean, that would probably be
Would
my
they
problem.
identify that as their
but
problem?
I think maybe. But also, like, someone might be coming in because I don't know. Maybe they've had children and they've got a weak pelvic floor. They might want to strengthen up because they're feeling like they can't lift their kids as easily as they want to. They might want to build some muscle because everything's feeling a bit floppy. Like, so there are lots of things that could be the case. But from Tim's male perspective, not really knowing anything too well. No, he does know a lot of his clients, but he might make that assumption about a client. I'll give you another example of this. Is like we see it a lot in life coaches. Is that you are hyper aware of what their problems are, but they are not always. So life coaching, the example that I might give here is that you might be aware that they have really low self-esteem, but she's not walking around every day going, I have low self-esteem. Like, you might be really aware that she suffers with self-doubt, but she might not be aware that she's suffering with self-doubt on a day-to-day basis. Okay. You might be aware that she has limiting beliefs, but she might not be aware that she has limiting beliefs. And so we have to be really situational with them. So instead of saying you have limiting beliefs, it might be like you struggle to comprehend X, right? Or something along those lines, because you want to be really clear about the problems that they are facing in their lives. So it has to be things that they are aware that they are facing. That is the key. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is that you're going to create a carousel post. Okay. Or it could be a long form caption, whatever you want. I'm going to use carousel post here as an example. You are going to create a carousel post providing the answer or the solution to one of the problems in a 3 to 5 step format. Okay. So for example, if it was for business and you wanted to get leads, I would say, if you need to get leads this month, here's what I would do. And then I would give 3 to 5 steps on exactly what to do. The end of the post would have some sort of call to action on how to work with us. Okay. Make that into a carousel post. You can schedule that on We Use Later, but you can use whatever you want. You can schedule that on Later to go up to Instagram, to go onto LinkedIn, and also to go across to Facebook. So that's step 2, is create a carousel post. Step 3 is to then create a reel from that same piece of content. Okay, so the reel could be exactly like, if you go and look on my content right now on social media, you'll see that I'm doing this a lot at the moment. It could just be, you want to get leads this month, here's what I do. And there might be a screenshot of your notes that you've written in your notes app of the 3 to 5 steps to do that. Okay. You want to use that reel, you want to repurpose that to Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Again, you can schedule all of that on Later. So far what we've done is we've listed out the problems, we've created a carousel post, we've used that same information to create a reel. Okay, which we've put across multiple platforms because we're using Later. The 4th step is now to create a quote post from that same content. Okay, so it might be just like, the number 1 tip to get more leads this month, and you might put it in there. Okay, as just like one photo, one text-based quote post that you can reshare on Instagram and of course on Facebook. So that will be step 4. And then step 5 is to take the best performing post from the week before. So if you create one piece of content, take the best performing one from the week before, copy the caption, put it into an email, and schedule that email out for the following week, again with a call to action on how to work with you. Okay. So in that 5 steps, what we've done is we've created a carousel post, we've repurposed to multiple places. We've created a reel from the same piece of content, we've repurposed to multiple places. We've created a quote post and we've repurposed it to multiple places. And we've also created an email marketing campaign that's gone out from the same piece of content that we created in step 2. This is how you have a content waterfall. It's one piece of content that flows across multiple platforms and that you can repurpose time and time and time again. If you wanted to take it one step further, you could create a YouTube. If you wanted to take it one step further, you could use that piece of content and create a podcast episode. If you wanted to take it one step further, you could make it into a blog as well. There is just endless ways to repurpose the content that you're currently creating, guys.
Yeah, I just want to give a simplified version of that. You have a problem, you make a piece of content out of it, and then you repurpose the content to multiple platforms. I know that is very simplistic, but honestly, this is how simple content can be. Okay, so now that we've told them about the content waterfall, guys, it is actually really simple. You're just overthinking if you're making this hard, okay? It is actually so friggin' simple, and I really want you to implement the done is better than perfect approach here. But Tim,
Are there any specific tools that you would use? So obviously we've spoken about later.
Yeah, so later would be the main one, and then Canva. That's where we design most of our stuff. Steph actually still does a lot of her designing because she has templates that were made by professional graphic designers and then just plugs and plays from those templates. So later, I tried Metricool, so METRI Cool. Cool. It wasn't as user-friendly as later. I find later very user-friendly. Metricool had better statistics and analytics, but later was just like goated for making it stupidly simple.
And what about email software? So if we're going to be sending an email to our list every week of the previous piece of content from a previous week that performed quite well, what email software would you use?
So I'll talk about best and then I'll talk about best budget. Okay. So the best overall email platform is ActiveCampaign. It sets you back $250 USD a month, which is quite a lot. If you're in Australia, it's about 400. And then the best budget is MailerLite. That's actually what we use, and we're not in that budget category, but it's free for under 1,000 subscribers and $19 for like 5,000. So it's super cheap. MailerLite is great. It has high email deliverability. Everything's really epic on it.
Yeah, we are loving MailerLite, and the reason that we chose it is because we have quite a large email list, and so obviously you pay per subscriber, and we found it super affordable, really easy to use, and have absolutely loved it. Next question, Tim, where would the CTA lead them? So if we're saying, if like I've used a couple of examples of like at the end of a carousel post or at the end of a reel or at the end of an email, where would the CTA lead them?
Well, it depends. So for a lot of Steph's content, she says, comment clients below and I'll send you XYZ, which we do in Sell by Chat. The other method here is you could send them to a landing page. So say, click link in bio to apply for my program, and that would drive them to Success School, the landing page. So the Success School method, what we actually preach and we tell our clients is that we're trying to send them to a landing page that's very high quality. So I would suggest sending people to a landing page. I'm doing Kung Fu with my microphone like Steph is as well.
I think we might need to get a different setup here. We use our hands too much.
Kung Fuing this thing.
Which platform should someone focus on? This is such an interesting question. Which one should they focus on?
Yeah, so if you're in the BizBabe world and you're listening to this podcast, everyone's going to tell you Instagram. Obviously, that's where most women hang out online. I think it's where you've got the biggest network. For most people, the most untapped network is their private Facebook, which I think you should be publishing content on quite consistently. It obviously works super well and engagement is great on Facebook as well. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, pick one. The main one you want to make content for, and then redistribute that or use the content waterfall system with everything else. So just pick the main one that you do, make that your pillar, and then distribute it out everywhere else. For me personally, if I use Instagram as well, because that's where a lot of our target market are, although my organic is not primary to our strategy in Success School, I just think that's the easiest one for me.
Love it.
All right, Steph, I've got 4 questions for you. What style of reels are working right now?
Go and pinch mine, guys. Easiest thing. Like, I think the biggest mistake I see people make is that they try so hard to be creative and spend hours and hours and hours trying to create new reels when, like, if something's kicking for somebody else, like, just recreate it in a way that makes sense for you and your audience, right? And makes sense. So go and check out my Instagram, go and check out what's working, but reel styles that are working right now, a little bit of B-roll video, so a little bit of like me moving in the background, some inspirational text on top, and then some sort of tips and tricks. So really hooky content works really well at the moment. Like, here's how I went from 10K months to 100K months. Yours will be different, obviously, in your business. Here's how, I lost 5 kilos of fat in 6 weeks, like whatever it might be. That's going to be really hooky content that's going to get people watching. The longer that people watch the reel, the more times they watch it, the more interaction they have, the more Instagram is going to promote that reel, the more views you're going to get, the more opportunities you're going to have to get new follows and start new conversations.
So they're going to grow.
Correct.
What captions should they use right now?
So it depends if you're a lazy entrepreneur and if marketing is not your number one focus, which, by the way, it should be. I believe in writing at least one educational caption per week because you want to repurpose that again for your email marketing. So I give it all away in my captions. Like, I'm literally like, here's the 3-step process to getting to 10K months. And I'll literally tell them what the process is. And I really believe that a lot of people I've been talking to have been kind of like, aren't you scared that people aren't going to work with you because they're getting enough value from your free content? And actually, we found the exact opposite. We have found that we've had more inquiries, more people wanting to work with us, more DM conversations, more opportunities that people have been dropping into our laps since we've been creating content that's been giving more away, because people are like, man, if this is what they're giving for free, imagine what they're giving in their paid, behind their paid wall. Secondly, because let's be real, guys, anyone can go on YouTube right now and they can find pretty much what you teach for free somewhere. Okay. it's not revolutionary. Like everyone learns something from everyone else at some point. And so if they just wanted to go and learn stuff, they could go and find that content online right now. They don't just need to learn it. They need help to implement it. And that's where coaching and that's where your service-based business comes into play. They're still going to need personalized strategic advice and support. And so your caption should 100% be sharing high value content right now.
Yeah, so the value in Success School is in the coaching. Okay, so it's in the feedback, it's in the coaching, it's on the coaching calls, it's in all the extra stuff, the personalized stuff that we give. The modules, etc., are great, but they're going to point you in the direction to get a base of your business dialed in, and then the coaching is what's going to take you to the next level. So, Steph, talk to us about hashtags. What's working?
This is the lazy entrepreneur way of doing this, but I'm by no means a hashtag expert, but I just find hashtags that seem to be working for other people, and then I copy them and I put them in my own post.
Social media managers are cringing around the world right now.
But it works. Yeah. So I don't know, I think and I say this time and time again, when you're starting from a blank screen, guys, the hardest thing you'll ever do. It's just someone's already cracked it. Just go figure out who's cracked it and go use theirs. And obviously you'll need to tweak them. Like I use one set that's for a social media manager, and I change a lot of the hashtags to be business coach and blah, 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 and yada, yada, and test them out and try and test, but don't start from scratch.
All right, last question on this lot of questions. So how do you know if it's working? Like, talk to us about analytics, like shares, etc.
So if you're doing the content waterfall, I guess the thing that you need to be looking at every week is you need to start getting pretty obsessed with your numbers and what people are interested in so you can recreate it. So the other day I had a reel that, did pretty well for me. I think it got like 15,000 views. It was definitely my best organically viewed reel in a while. And I was like, cool, that landed for people. Something about that worked. So now I'm going to try and figure out what about that worked. Was it the trending audio, which is Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield right now, by the way, which if you've seen anyone but you, have you seen the reason it's trending is because that movie just came out that Tim and I went and saw. Great movie, by the way.
What was it?
I think it was called Anyone But You.
Oh, Anyone But You. Yeah,
do you remember? With
really friendly characters.
So you want to be so I'm going to look at, is that audio? Is it the audio that works? So I might create another reel using that audio and see if that's the thing that's spiking it. It might be the content. Was it the content that worked? Okay, how can I create more of that type of content? Is it the, the flashy, the way that the captions flash across the screen? Then I'll try more of that. And over time, I'm just going to tweak it until I find my winning recipe. And then I'm going to repurpose that. When you're looking at your analytics, the things that you want to be looking for are different depending on what you're trying to do or what your goal is. So when you're looking at analytics, if you're trying to grow your audience, the things you're going to be looking for is reach and follows. Okay, so reach and follows. You're going to get more reach the more times that people share your stuff. So you have to create quite shareable content so that you can have more reach, so that you can get more follows. This is where hashtags come in so helpful. The other day I used a set of hashtags on my post and I think I had 15,000 reach and 8,000 came from the hashtags. It's crazy how much reach you get from hashtags. So if you're trying to grow your audience, they're the metrics you want to be looking at. If you're looking for engagement, if you're trying to grow your engagement, you're going to be looking at likes, comments, and saves. Those things are, those people who are liking, commenting, and saving your stuff, they're going to be more likely to see your content over and over again. So it really depends on the goal that you have. Don't just kind of go into Instagram and be like, I want to make money. I think you need to probably think of it a little bit more holistically into okay, I want to grow my following and get really engaged followers. And that will lead to money. That will lead to sales. If you're going in and you're just going, I'm just going to keep posting content and hope that something goes viral one day, rather than actually actively trying to, the reason that we get 300 new followers every month, because I'm consistently focusing on creating shareable content and creating engaging content so that when they find me, they engage with me, they're more likely to see my stuff over and over again, which means we have a higher opportunity to sell to somebody.
So I am by no means an expert, and the last tip on this, guys, is that if you want to create great content, write it for one person and don't write it to grow the business, okay? So you want to be talking to one person and not generic content that you think will grow the business. All right, guys, we're going to get into the listener questions now. If you have a question for us, it is in our Facebook group. That is the best place to pop your questions. We'll put up a thread. You guys drop it in there. If you want to get in our Facebook group, it will be in the show notes. So the first question is from Caitlin H. Best place to advertise other than Instagram and Facebook, or ways to effectively market on those platforms. I don't know anyone who's getting results, so I'm not sure what is and isn't effective. This is a loaded question.
This is so loaded. If you don't know anyone who's getting results, you're probably following the wrong people. And I definitely would focus on finding people who are absolutely crushing. If you ask us in our Facebook group who's crushing right now, we'll tag a few different accounts so you can have a little look. But the best places to advertise other than Instagram, Facebook, Instagram is our number one place to advertise. Like other than our Facebook ads, which we run and which Tim does so well for us. But other than that, like Instagram is our number one platform for meeting with, connecting with, and converting clients. So I don't believe that Instagram is dead. I know a lot of people who are crushing using Instagram. I think it works really, really well. Effectively marketing on these platforms, like you have to have an audience. If you have 100 followers or 200 followers or 300 followers, only 3% of that audience are actually seeing your stuff. That's like 10 people. It's just you're not going to get the traction you need. So you have to focus on growth at the beginning. Once you get over 1,000, 2,000 followers, it starts to get a lot easier for you. By no means do you need a big audience to be able to make big money on social media, but you do need an audience to be able to make money on social media. So I think Instagram and Facebook are really great. In terms of Facebook, what works really well, we teach a lot around Facebook groups and posting in Facebook groups. There is definitely a recipe for this and something that we go over a lot in our program, but a lot of our clients get fully booked just from posting in Facebook groups. The feedback we get is like, oh yeah, but I get blocked and I get kicked out. And I'm like, cool, well, we teach you the ways to get around that. So if you need help with that, definitely something that we help with in our successful clients. And ways to effectively market on these platforms. I think that you just have to become good at it. Like you can't just put up posts and expect to get results. Like you have to become good at marketing on those platforms. If you're not getting any results on Facebook or Instagram, which are the two of the main players for marketing in the Western world, I think that it probably tells me more that you don't have the skill of marketing nailed yet, and that there's probably a little bit of skill building that needs to happen, because those two platforms are absolutely crushing for people who know how to market. Tim?
Yeah, so I would probably take this from a different angle. If they are not your platform, find out what your strength is. Maybe you are better off going old school door to door, like back in the 1980s when they used to grow businesses by like just reaching out, networking with people. I think they made phone calls on those like cups with strings, like from back in the day.
Fax machines?
Yeah, fax machines. They used to send faxes to each other. But yeah, old school, like build networks, go to referral things. So I used to be in a BNI, so business networking, whatever that was. That actually worked for getting clients. It was like very slow and manual, but it did work. So if digital marketing is not your thing and you don't want to commit the time to learning it, I think it might be a time thing for you. Just, you know, how this question is phrased, it might be a time thing and a skill thing for you. So yeah, I would hit it old school door to door, you know, build networks, build relationships, etc.
Yeah, and I think it depends on what you do. Like cold email marketing also works, you know, but it really depends on your audience. It depends on where they are. If your audience is on Instagram, if your audience is on Facebook and you're not able to get that working, it's a skill. It's a skill thing that you need to develop. Tim, we have a question from Brandon L. He's asked, how do you get leads despite having a not so active friend and family network?
Yeah, so this was quite funny. It popped up in our group and I clicked on his profile and I couldn't see anything. I was trying to work out like what Brandon actually does. His last name is Lee. So I started Googling Brandon Lee and then it came up with Bruce Lee's son, like the famous like martial arts guy. And I was like, is this Bruce Lee? It kind of looks like him in his display picture. So I was like, man, maybe it's Bruce Lee's son. Anyway, I went on LinkedIn. I went full psycho ex-girlfriend and was trying to stalk the shit out of this guy. And I couldn't find anything. Like I couldn't find a business, couldn't find profile. His LinkedIn was dead. And then I thought, if I can't even find what this guy does, how the hell is anyone else going to find out?
How are your friends and family going to find out about it? Yeah.
Yeah. So to answer your question, Brandon Lee, if I can't find you, I don't think anyone else is going to be able to find you. And that's probably the first issue. So you need to, like, business success isn't about being all visible online, but it's having some kind of profile. We need to know what your business is and what you do. And I couldn't even find that. The second answer is kind of similar to the last answer, but like I would hit the streets and do networking. I would do BNI. I would get out there, find my customers. I would do cold email. I would do outreach. I would do all those type of things. If you don't have like a network of family and friends to start with, depends if it's a local business or online. The context on this one was really hard to find, so I can't give you a specific answer. Anything to add, Steph?
Yeah, I'd say that, like, I think sometimes, look, I have my parents, I have no siblings, I have no cousins or aunties or uncles or any of that stuff that I could lean on. So I would say that, Brandon, I was in the same situation as you. I had a handful of friends from high school who are not interested in the things that I was selling. And so the way that I started, I think that the limiting factor here is that you think it's just friends and family and you forget about peers. So when I first started my first business, I used to work in corporate at the same time, and I used to email out on the corporate email to like office wide and invite them to my events. I used to ask them to share it to their Facebooks and their groups. I used to create Facebook events and then share them with every single person I knew and ask them to click going or interested so that we could get more eyeballs on the event. I think that even though you would be surprised surprised. Like Tim will tell you, like the last week or so, we've had a couple of people sign up that have known Tim since he was in school and high school. We've had people who've signed up when you were in your first year of PT. I've had people that have signed up for Success School in the last couple of weeks that have known me since I was working in my corporate days. And I think that you sometimes forget that people are watching. If you're friends with them on Facebook, you know, you have a couple of hundred friends on Facebook probably, you might not have spoken to those people for years, but they're watching and they're seeing. And I think there is value in sharing what you're up to and what you're doing. And your personal Facebook is really an incredible place to get started at the very beginning, because those people have no like and trust with you immediately. So I would say that even though you might not have big family or friends groups, you have a big peer network of people you went to high school with, of people you've worked with over the years who do follow you and who might know someone who's interested in what you offer.
As always, guys, that was a great episode. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you thought. Slide into our DMs. We do love it. Subscribe, follow the show. The follow is very important. I was speaking to a couple of people in the podcasting industry, and they were like, make sure you get the follow. So if you're listening, guys, please follow us.
We're not begging, but we're on our knees.
But yeah, we'll do anything for a follow. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you're interested in Success School, guys, and you want to grow a high 6 and 7 figure business, go to www.successschool.io, click apply, fill in the application form, book in time to speak with our team. We'll see if you're a good fit and you like what we have, but we would love the opportunity to work with you. If you're someone that is willing to work hard, put in the work, and you want to be coached, we will get you there. It might take 6 months, it might take 12 months, it might take a couple of years, but if you show up, if you hang your head in the ring, we will help you grow a successful business. Lastly, guys, if you got some value from this, share this episode with someone. Our growth comes from word of mouth mainly. 60% of it comes from word of mouth. So please send it to someone on Instagram, Facebook, text message, email. I don't know, send them a fax, whatever it is. We have to get the show out there, and we would appreciate that. And please leave us a 5-star review. Every review counts, guys. Thanks, Steph.
Thanks.